Grab your cup. Let's talk about what drives the decisions and the behaviors that you make, the next actions that you take. When we're little, we are learning about the world through what gives me pleasure, what makes me feel good, and what's painful. I want to avoid what's painful, and I want to go to what brings me pleasure, right? So that's what children do. I want to eat that now. I want to do this thing now. This is what I want to do. This is fun. This makes me feel good. I don't want to go to bed now. I don't want to do that. That's painful for me. And that's a completely appropriate way for children to start to learn about the world. What do I want? What do I not want? And what I don't want, comes from, it brings me pain in some way. It's uncomfortable for me, like that. Okay, that's how children learn the world. At some point as we're growing, we're supposed to move from that place of using that criteria to decide what to do next into a place of integrity. So I choose my actions and my behaviors based on my integrity, which means, are they in alignment with what I said, what I gave my commitment to, even if it doesn't make me feel good, even if it's painful. So you can see that all over in any place. Like if you wanted to have a certain outcome in your body and your health, you need to make lifestyle changes. Sometimes they don't feel good. Sometimes they keep you feeling restricted. Sometimes it's not fun to eat the healthy food. But if we're still in that pain-pleasure place, we don't continue, we don't ever reach our goals because we're deciding and we break our word and we fall out of integrity with ourselves when we go, nah, I'm not gonna do that. Nah, I'm gonna eat this anyway. In relationships, that happens if you're in a relationship and you're still in that pain-pleasure place, a couple of things. There's conversations to have that are uncomfortable, even painful. And instead of having them, we avoid that. We avoid having the uncomfortable conversations, doing the uncomfortable things from a place of integrity where I made a commitment to this relationship and to have it work. So even though this is uncomfortable, out of acknowledgement for that, I'm going to speak this to the other person. I'm going to stay in integrity with what's important to me, and I'm going to speak that. The flip side of that is, I'm in a relationship, it's not going well, it doesn't feel good, and instead of having the painful conversations or staying in integrity, I'm now going to go do something else that makes me feel better. I'm going to go have an affair because the affair makes me feel good, and we'll justify it. We'll justify all of it in our head. Human beings are master justifiers, so we'll justify it. Well, they're not paying attention to me. They don't listen to me. We don't ever have sex anyway, so I'm going to go have an affair. It's out of integrity with the vows that you took, even if they were 30 years ago, right? So when we still live in what brings me pleasure, what do I do to avoid pain, and we're not living in integrity, we're getting very different outcomes in our lives. We're getting relationships that are broken, that are not comfortable to be in. We're getting results in our body, even in other areas of our lives. When we live in integrity and we stay with that, we keep our eye on what is the outcome that I said, what are the things that are true to me, and let me be in integrity with that, personal integrity, the outcomes become very different. The relationships, you work through them, regardless of if it's feeling good or not, as a commitment to them. And what's available on the other side of that effort, who knows? It could be absolutely amazing because you've stuck with the integrity and you've done that work. It might be a completely different, amazing relationship. It might be a relationship that decides mutually, with respect, in integrity, it's time to move on. Very different than cheating, blaming, pain, all the anger, all of that, right? So how are you making your choices in all the areas of your life? Do you go with what feels good? Do you go with, I want to avoid that? Or do you stay with integrity, speak up, even when it's painful? That's the key. Even when it's painful, do you take the action with the commitment for the outcome that you said in your life you wanted? If you don't know how to do that, because if we're not taught that, healing childhood trauma, believe it or not, helps us get into a place of integrity. Healing childhood trauma, when we still have that unhealed trauma, we still are oftentimes allowing our 5-year-old self to be running our life. We're still operating. The person who's having the affair, the person who's not speaking up, that's the 5-year-old self running that relationship, running who you are. So actually healing your childhood trauma allows you to have the tools to now move into integrity in your life and to have very different outcomes. That's one of the benefits of healing those old wounds. If you don't know how to do that, that's another part of the work that I do. Drop me a message. If you're looking around, whether it's your health, whether it's your goals in your life or your relationships, if you're looking around and you can see that you keep not getting where you want to go, and in integrity, being authentic to your word, to yourself, to the commitment that you made is not happening, drop me a message so we can connect. Have a good day.